All right, so you're making real money. You're not rich, but you've got options. Maybe you sold your company, you personally got 5 million, or maybe you're running cash flow business and you're paying yourself 3 to 400k per year. And one day you ask yourself, should I fly private? You're tired of flying commercial. You don't want to wait in the queues for hours, and you just want it to be quick access, and you want to maintain your social status of being successful. I am an aeronautical engineer and I also have a business, so I do have a little bit of insight of private jets, and I know quite a lot of people who are private jet broker. I was able to come up with a little PDF of if flying private jets for you. At the end of this video, I'll give a concrete conclusion if it's worth buying a private jet or flying private jets for you specifically. In this video, I'll just break down why people fly private. This is all based on research I've done from entrepreneurs who are within the community called Wellington. I'm not an expert. I'm not at that level yet where I need to fly private personally, but maybe you're at that level. So yeah, here's just a little breakdown. A side note, if you are running a real business and you want to be in a vetted community, entrepreneurs who could advise you on stuff like this, click on the link in the description and apply for Wellington. It's a very tight vetted group. It's not meant for everyone, but it's meant for real founders who are building generational wealth. So here's the truth. Flying private jet is obviously cool. It's efficient, it's fast. And if you have enough money, why not do it? But what's truly wild is the price. Typically for a private jet, it costs $2,000 to $15,000 per hour. So you have to be earning or making quite a lot of money to be doing this. This all depends on the size and the range you're going to fly. I currently live in London. Most people I know, or most people who are flying private jets, they may end up going to Mykonos, for example. So if you're flying from London to Mykonos on a light jet, I will explain later on the video what type of jets there are. That costs around 20 to 30,000 pounds one way. And that's the same route for Ryanair. You can do for $59. So you got four main options depending on how deep your pockets are in terms of private jet access. The first one is chartering. Chartering is basically renting trips as you need it. So you don't fully own the plane, but every time you want to use a private jet, you're basically renting it. Then you have jet card. It could be a physical card, not a physical card. It's more or less like a subscription membership. For example, in Wellington, you have a yearly subscription and you pay to be within this community. But for a private jet, you can own a jet card or a subscription membership where if you need it, you can use a private jet, but you have to have a monthly or yearly subscription fees. You then have fraction ownership, more or less like a timeshare style. So you kind of own a fractional of the private jets based on the time you're going to use it. The last one's full ownership. This is where you're in the Gulfstream territory now, where you fully own a private jet. And if you fully own a private jet, or you have that money to fully own a private jet, give me a call, take me on a trip. I'm ready to come with you. I can have nice conversations with you. Okay, so let's break it down. Chartering versus earning costs and consideration. This is more like an Uber Black versus buying a Maybach. Chartering could be $2,000 to $15,000 or pounds per hour, while earning could be from 3 to 70 plus million. So obviously that's a big difference. Also, a hidden cost most people don't know about is maintenance, which could easily be 1 million per year. So the use case is if you chartered, you're kind of more or less flying less than 50 hours a year. So for example, if you're flying from LA to New York, and let's say it takes 4 hours or whatever, that's already 4 hours gone of your flight hours that you're using per year. So 50 hours is quite a lot, depends how frequent you want to travel. In contrast, if you own your private jets, you're flying 200 plus hours a year and you're like setting fire to money. Then you have fraction ownership. This is basically like net jets. The whole business model is like buying 1/16 of a jet and you're having access for 50 hours per year. So NetJet, FlexJet, PlaneSense, they all use this type of model. You have an upfront buy, which is around 500 to 1 million per year. 500k obviously to 1 million, just to make sure I'm specific, per year. Or you can have like an annual fees of 200,000 to 500,000, depending on the type of jet. So this is kind of for, you're not rich, but you're a starter rich. That's when you kind of enter the fraction ownership level. So you have co-ownership, just like owning a holiday home with another founder. It works great if it's with someone who wants to use the jet at the same time. So for example, if you have a co-founder, you guys want to both go on holidays to Mykonos, to London, to Paris, to Antarctica, wherever you want to go, Miami. But you can all go together and basically just half the price, which is pretty cost efficient, I believe. But make sure you're doing this with someone who you trust, someone who you like, and someone who has similar type of style as you. So they want to fly private, roughly around the exact same flight hours per year as you do. This cut costs in half, but scheduling equals chat hell. For example, to schedule this, it may take quite a while because, as I said, you're doing this at the same time as someone else. So if the other person doesn't want to fly private on Tuesday, you're not flying private on Tuesday. So your alignment has to be very in sync. Needs formal agreements and there's a lot of legal documents because private jets are expensive and you don't want one party to just be like, oh no, I don't want you to do this anymore. So yeah, do it with someone you really like. Is more or less the same level as choosing a co-founder. Then you have full ownership. Is full ownership worth it? Owning a jet sounds like a baller thing. However, purchase price could be 3 to 70 million pounds or dollars or over. Some jets are 150 million. So it's a big expenses. Operating costs could be around 500k or even 2 million per year. This is all pilot salaries, hangar space, fuel, maintenance. You probably have like a management service fee. So you pay like a third party to do all of this together. It's pretty expensive. So you don't own the jet, you sponsor it like a lost child. You pour money into it for like 10 years, then it thanks you by depreciation like a Rolls Royce. So, as I said, depreciation is a real thing. Especially, it's for example, like you're buying a car. The minute you buy a car, for example, let's say you buy a car for 400k, the minute you leave the parking lot, at least 1/3 is gone, more or less. So let's break down the private jet classes. So you have like a light jet, which is 46 seaters. This is like the Citation CJ3 or like a Phenom 300. These are kind of for like short ranges. Then you have a mid-sized jet, which is normally like 6 to 8 seats. It's like a Hawker 800 or like a Learjet. Learjets are reliable, however, they're not meant to be used too much. Just take that in consideration. If you're buying a Learjet because you think it's a bit cheaper, but you overuse it, you're going to ramp up the cost in terms of maintenance. Then you have a heavy sized jet, which is like 10 to 14 seaters, just where you have the the Gulfstream G450 or the Falcon 900. These are very reliable jets. Most people have Gulfstreams. They're known for being for the upper tier people and they're very reliable. Then you have the ultra long range, so like the Gulfstream G650, Bombardier Global 7500. Bad boys. These are like the top level. These are serious private jets. More or less like the Bugatti of the skies. Drake owns one, Elon owns one, and if you're speaking to other founders and you talk about these type of private jets, they're like, okay, you're a serious baller. This is where people get wrecked quite a lot because they don't know about the hidden costs. So you have annual maintenance of 300k to 1 million. Every private jet is like a car, you need servicing. Not only servicing, more or less MOT, not only MOT, you want it to be as safe as possible. So you have like your ramp checks, your overnights, your weeklies, AOG configurations, your pressure check, your oil leaks check. Like you want to have maintenance on that aircraft as often as possible. Even like I know because as I said, I'm an aeronautical engineer. You have like a new Challenger, 3,500. Not many flight hours, but there's something wrong with it already. This is very important to make sure you leave aside some money for maintenance because hidden costs will always come. Then you have insurance, which is around 50 to 500k. This all depending on obviously the size of your aircraft, how many flight hours you're planning on doing per year. But insurance is obviously important. You have hangar fees. Oh my days. These planes don't just stay outside in the heat or in the rain or in the cold. They're stored in a hangar. Hangar space is not cheap. I don't even know why, but they just make hangar space expensive for no reason. Always make sure your plane needs to be sat somewhere and you're gonna have to pay for it. You have crew salaries. Of course, you want to have good crew. You're gonna want to have a good pilot. Don't pay for any cheap pilot because you're gonna have an experienced pilot because more or less that's like your whole entire safety. That ranges from 200k plus per year, and it could even be a lot higher depending on what type of level of crew you want, what type of level of experienced pilot you want. I wouldn't make this an undercut. I wouldn't like pay a lot cheaper to have a cheaper pilot. So you think you're just buying a plane? No, you're actually running a tiny airline. It's not cheap to own a private jet. So the main question is who actually owns private jets? You have celebrities like Drake, Kylie Jenner, Oprah Winfrey, or entrepreneurs like Elon Musk. I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg has one. Then you have the P guys who most likely they fly fractions as chartered unless they're raised billionaires. Or you have founders who exit over 100 million. In my community, some people have raised or will exit 100 million. They're thinking of flying private because it makes sense. You have 100 million, maybe after tax, depending on where you live, but you still have like 60 mil left. You could buy a private jet for 3 mil, 5 mil. It might be convenient for them because they're always traveling to look at different deals, and it's time consuming and it's time efficient. Sorry, all depending on if you need it. And then you have finally, you have ultra wealthy family offices. This is mainly for tax benefit plus flexibility. You'd be shocked with how many billionaires who don't actually fly private unless international. These people just think it's actually kind of a waste of time. If you're a billionaire, doesn't mean you're just spending your money and you willy-nilly. No, you're actually very meticulous with how you spend your money. So the most rational argument I've ever heard about flying private jet is always time. So one person in my community, which you can join the link in the descriptions of, as I said, and started a very vetted community of serious entrepreneur. They basically said that if I miss a $10 million deal because British Airways delayed my flight, that's a real cost. So flying private, you can fly on your own schedule. You can land closer to a remote location. And most importantly, you can skip TSA, which everyone loves to do. But if your time isn't worth 20k per hour, maybe stick to first class. Because first class is really good, or even business class. It's not bad, but if you want to fly on your own schedule or it's a last minute thing and you have the means, why not fly private? So when you're buying a jet, you can obviously buy new versus buy used, more or less like a car. Use is 30 to 50% cheaper. However, your maintenance fee will be a lot higher. You have fewer warranty from the actual OEMs like Bombardier, and you may have dated tech like cars. As I said, jet depreciates extremely fast, 20 to 30% in 3 years. So maybe it's not really cost effective to actually buy a private jet brand new. Beware of some scams. There are some scams in the private jet market. This is a big opportunity for grifters. You get fake brokers, deposits sometimes get stolen, hidden maintenance issues that they didn't tell you anything about, or non-verified jet card. So if it feels too good to be true, it's probably a Learjet from some crazy country. I don't want to name any specific country. It can be controversial, with one wing and a pilot name. I don't know. But yeah, just make sure you do your due diligence when you're buying a private jet. In conclusion, this is the main thing. Is private jet worth it? If you're doing under 2 million per year, flying private is stupid, in my opinion, after speaking or listening to real entrepreneurs. Better use of capital is invest in it, hiring, saving time with obviously AI, like my previous video we can watch, or upgrading your healthcare, because health is wealth, guys, etc. It's only worth it when your value time is more than money. You fly probably over 200 hours per year. You're managing multiple locations or investors, so you need to get there extremely fast. Or you're dealing with security risks or privacy, then maybe flying in private jet is important. Private jet is not just for ultra rich guys, it's for people who are time poor. They want to leverage and maximize time to make more money. Alright, that's it for now. As I said, if you want more deep, insightful conversations like this, of stuff that will actually affect your life as an entrepreneur, click the link in the description and apply for Wellington, a very vetted group. And YouTube algorithm is extremely good. So any video just suggestion here, I would recommend you to watch.